Yo, family. What's good? Welcome back to another crypto and Casper live stream. Back to the usual content after yesterday's enjoyable, different Web3 poker day where I got cooked, but I also cooked Lavendi. It was a fun time at Wolfie's Bar. Food are fantastic, vibes were immaculate, and there should be many more of those events in the future as well, which will be exciting as well. I possibly will be streaming them more on this channel. There's no set plan in stone. We'll see where it goes from here. Either way, we're back now talking about the crypto market, and we've had some extremely big news today. I did just post a video on my channel which goes into some of the content today in a bit more detail, in respects of tariff headlines, and also some macro news which has impacted the markets. We can see right now markets are green across the board. Crypto bubble showcase the same as well. You've got some assets absolutely flying today: Morpho, Kite, Jupiter, and so on and so forth. If you look at TradingView, Bitcoin's currently up 1%, just getting rejected here at the support at the level of resistance here, and at around 67, almost 68k. ETH is just below 2k right now. You're seeing Kaspa up 3.29% on the daily time frame. We did see Kaspa momentarily get rejected here at this level of resistance here in around 0.0322. Kaspa currently valued at 0.0311, and many other assets are also performing quite well. Render was up a lot earlier as well. Render had a nice little rally earlier before coming down a little bit. So we're seeing the market performing very well. That is off the back of the recent announcement from the US Supreme Court and also the macro report, and then Trump as well. Going to get into all of that stuff, plus some Kaspa updates, some very important news. As always, family, if you enjoy the content, leave a like, share with your friends, subscribe for more, check out the Discord community so you stay tuned to all the updates in real time, and join the VIP to be even more locked in. But of course, I'll talk about that a little bit later on in this stream. So to start with, as I mentioned in the video I posted a few minutes ago, the Supreme Court earlier today ruled that Trump's tariffs are illegal in a 6-3 ruling. Now, this is significant for a number of reasons. One of them being is in the 9 judges for the Supreme Court, 6 of them are Republicans, only 3 are Democrats. Now, granted, Trump actually only appointed 3 himself, so I imagine it was those 3 that said that Trump's tariffs were illegal and fine. But either way, there were 6 total Republicans, and 3 of them said that they were illegal. Now, be that as it may, the United States were facing $150 billion plus in potential tariff refunds, but no surprise, it was inevitable it was going to happen. We're going to play this video out right here and now. Effective immediately, all national security tariffs, Section 232, and existing Section 301 tariffs remain in place and in full force and effect. Today, I will sign an article to impose a 10% global tariff under Section 122, over and above our normal tariffs already being charged. So had there now been, effective immediately, 10% global tariffs implemented on every single nation. Listen closely here to this announcement. This announcement really from Trump here.
In order to protect, and it says so, in order to protect our country, a president can actually charge more tariffs than I was charging in the past period of a year under the various tariff authorities. So we can use other of the statutes, other of the tariff authorities, which have also been confirmed and are fully allowed. Therefore, effective immediately, all national security tariffs under Section 232 and existing Section 301 tariffs, they're existing, they're there, remain in place, fully in place, and in full force and effect. Today, I will sign an order to impose a 10% global tariff under Section 122, over and above our normal tariffs already being charged. And we're also initiating several Section 301 and other investigations to protect our country from unfair trading practices of other countries and companies. Thank you for your attention to this matter, and I say quite simply, which I've said for a long time, make America great again. And interestingly, we've already made it great, so I don't have to use that, but I don't think we'll ever give up on MAGA. MAGA is always going to be with us.
So we now have 10% tariffs issued globally on top of the tariffs that already are in place. Where does this leave us from here? Is what Trump doing perfectly legal and fine? That's the general question that I'm sure people are wondering about. As I would put this into to Grok or AI or whatever like that, effectively the Supreme Court ruled that the tariffs that had been imposed were illegal because they are Congress. Only Congress had the legal right to issue these tariffs, not the president, in accordance to the Constitution. So the Supreme Court said that you're doing it is illegal. But there are other means in which you can issue tariffs, like what he's doing right now with these 10% global tariffs. To my understanding, these tariffs last for 150 days, so a little under half a year, about 5 months or so. And after 150 days, then Congress would have to vote on whether they want to extend it or not. So these tariffs are fine. There's nothing wrong with them. And now you've got more tariffs implemented. It does mean that tariffs that were implemented, some of them, not all of them, but some of them will have to be revoked, thus refunded back to those who have been affected. How long that happens is ultimately wait and see. But because of the understanding that companies who were squeezed by the tariffs will have to be refunded, that does result in some form of stimulus that will come into those economies, into those companies, and that could impact markets. Hence why you're seeing crypto doing very well right now, because the understanding from investors is, $150 billion stimulus checks coming in to these companies going in back into the markets. It's not going to be as black and white as that. As I made in the video, don't fall for this trap. This is great short-term news, but I think it is by all means short-term FOMO euphoria. We're in a position right now where we've got 10% tariffs, and off the back of this, you can very well expect, of course, we'll have to see how it unfolds, but given what we've seen already with the first issuing of tariffs, now you've seen this development, you might see trade wars start again, on top of the already accelerating or worsening conditions between the Middle East, Iran and the US. So you might see more trade wars going from this, which could be a cause for concern. You could see once more Congress trying to fight back against these tariffs, saying that this shouldn't be allowed. The bottom line is we are, once again, in a period of extreme risk, extreme uncertainty. That's why crypto is so volatile today. And it's also a growing possibility, given the growing geopolitical tensions in Iran and in with the US, given this current tariff bonanza, about better choice of words, you're going to end up likely seeing more risk, resulting therefore in these risk on markets being deemed as more undesirable, getting in towards the assets that are deemed as safe havens, your gold, your metals. Gold's currently up 1.5%, above 5k again. Silver's up 6.4%, still quite a ways off their all-time highs, but there's no doubt it could return to that in my belief. Oil is down a little bit today, but it's still above $65 a barrel due to the worries and concerns of a war breaking out between the US and Iran. So my overall stance from this right now is cool. The Supreme Court ruled it as illegal, but they had given other means to which Trump can issue these tariffs. He has now done so. We now got to wait 5 months or so, if not even sooner, until the next step's taken, which would be kind of in the crunch time also of midterms as well. Midterms start in March, or the election really starts in March, and they end in November. So given 5 months from now, we're on currently February 20th. We're looking at 5 months from now, about July. So we're going to be right in the middle of midterms, as these tariffs should be reaching their deadline, and then we'll see what the next steps taken from there, whether Congress extend them, whether they stop extending them, whatever happens from there. So we'll see what happens from here. I'm sure you'll see over the weekend some form of rebuttal from some form of nations, be it the UK, be it the EU, all this sort of stuff. And then when the market open on Monday, you'll see the reaction, the crisis that comes from trade war ensuing, from worries about actual warfare ensuing, the typical stuff. So this, for me, bullish momentum, which is fantastic and much needed relief. I'm not under the impression right now it's going to generate a big pump. I could be wrong, of course. I'm not a financial advisor. Please, by all means, do your own research and trade at your own discretion. I'm under the impression right now it will be short-lived, and you'll see maybe a little bit of relief over the weekend, maybe, and then you'll see this market come back down again following next week, and what other developments come off the back of this as well. If you agree, of course, let me know in the comments. If not, then we'll talk about it. Either way, this is quite interesting. And as I mentioned in my video as well, also very interestingly, we had some very, very big macro reports. Which, the two main ones, I mean, there were a number that came out, and I posted them all in my VIP community, but the two main ones was GDP and PCE. Now note, both of these reports were delayed due to the government shutdown. So maybe that means the data is not completely accurate, who knows. Point being is, you've seen core PCE increase. Now, you can look at PPI inflation reports, CPI inflation reports, which all measure different metrics of the economy. Everyone seemingly looks at trueflation right now, which is all well and good looking at it, but believe it or not, the Fed don't give an arse about trueflation. So there's no point in looking at trueflation when that metric is not going to be used, at least in my belief. I've seen trueflation, I've looked at it, but I don't ever correlate trueflation into my investment strategies, because nobody that controls the economy looks at trueflation. The Fed use PCE. The Fed controls the US economy and, albeit therefore, the world. They look at PCE inflation, and PCE 0.2%, expected to go up a little bit, went up a bit more. PCE is now at 3%. It's hot. The Fed wants it to go back down to 2 before they start doing anything significant. So not just is PCE not coming down, inflation not coming down like the Fed wants, it's going up. It's getting hotter. On Wednesday, the Fed said they want to still aim for that 2% target. So this is not ideal. However, also the reason why the markets are rallying today is because of GDP. GDP growth last quarter came in at 4.4%. It was fantastic. Going into a strengthened economy, a growing economy. It was expected to come back down a little bit to 2.8%, and it missed that by quite a margin, 1.4%. We are encroaching onto those recessionary numbers again. Anything below 0, if it goes below 0, which we had last year, that is kind of that recession warning signs. So despite inflation being very, very hot, which therefore means that typically when inflation is hot, you want to hike rates to combat that. The Fed can't hike rates. Hiking rates would cause this to drop lower, potentially putting us into recession. So the Fed can't hike rates. And because we are already coming down anyways, there is a possibility the Fed are more inclined to be like, okay, we can't have a recession. That's literally their whole job. The whole job of the Fed is to avoid a recession. Therefore, they might ignore that 2% target, the high inflation, and start cutting rates again. Although this development might make them hesitant, I still think they're going to stand strong and just wait. If you go to look at the Fed watch tool, irrespective of the possibility of rate cuts, 96% chance of no rate cuts, so not likely happening in March. April, 82%, so equally very, very high. Jerome Powell at that point will leave. Going into June, it's become pretty much 50-50 now whether we get rate cuts or not. Right now is less indication we're going to be getting rate cuts, so we've got to keep our wits about us in that aspect. But this GDP could turn the scales. So that is ultimately the kind of general oversight of macro and fundamentals, and ultimately how that can impact the market, especially next week. I think next week's going to be high risk. I think we could see a lot of volatility, both up and down. I'm also leaning towards it going down, but it does depend on what news comes out tomorrow. If we do see an escalation again, an actual warfare in the Middle East, then yes, that's going to cause some headwinds, to put that bluntly, to market pullbacks. And that will be when I'm looking into more so the altcoins are on my radar, the video I made earlier. Kaspa, of course, continuing to say that pretty much every single week because it is just for me the only asset that I think really, really matters and will really solve the whole issue we have with money. And Kaspa's got so many big updates coming out soon. I think Kaspa's going to shock a lot of people, especially throughout this cycle, given what's coming out this cycle: Dag Knight, Covenants, Silverscript, VProgs, ZK, IGRA, smart contracts, stablecoins, AI agents, the list goes on. That stuff coming out for Kaspa in the next few months. I think Kaspa's going to start making a real impression on everybody very, very soon. Other assets that I mentioned in that video: Quant, centralized, yes. Is it a blockchain? No, it's an operating system. Should you trust it? That's down to you. For me, Quant is a CBDC hedge. In America, they don't push out CBDCs. Trump said no CBDCs, and I'm happy he did that because I don't like CBDCs. But the rest of the world want them. UK does, Japan does, and currently Quant is running tests, or those UK and Japan are running with Quant in the pushing out CBDCs. In Europe, they're doing the same thing. So I think Quant is a good hedge in that aspect. Other assets also: Tau, AI Play, we know how big AI is going to be. Render, spoke about that in my video as well. There are many assets I think are very, very good. And of course, you can look into all the other assets I have in question or on my watch list. Signing up to the VIP, we've got playbooks in there, Google Docs in there, which gives a breakdown of all the assets in question. You know, what the project is, who their partnerships are, what the tokenomics are, the potential risk or concerns behind them as well, and my overall, 0 to 10 ROI rating as well. And if you've got any other assets, well, you can reach out to me, let me know, and I'll look through them for you. But as it stands right now, there are many assets. You want to find out more, check out the VIP. Links are down below in the description. Now, I've got one more important general update before we get into some really big Kaspa news and other crypto news. And the Tariff here, looks like it was a very, very productive and serious meeting today regarding that stablecoin meeting between the crypto firms and banks. Still seemingly not found an actual conclusion just yet, but the White House wants these negotiations to be done before the end of February, by March 1st. Right now, it's ultimately still just banks saying we don't want to let anybody generate rewards from stablecoin yields. They want to continue monopolizing that for themselves. And crypto firms are saying, no, we should be able to do that as well. The individual should be able to do that as well. Still very much going back and forth right now. Currently, the belief that we're seeing right now is somewhat leaning more towards the bank side of things, where if there are entities that are generating yields from stablecoins, then they are potentially liable for up to a $500,000 fine per violation. If you're a crypto firm like Coinbase, per day, which is pretty nuts. I'll post this full doc this full link in my free Discord server in the news channel, so you can watch and look through it for yourself. But we're going to see where it goes from here. Hopefully crypto will pull through, but I don't think the bank's going to bottom this at all. And I mean, I don't know where I stand from that, because some part of people are like, better having some regulations than no regulations, but I'm also kind of like, but the regulations are not going to help us in any way, and they're just going to give banks the control again and make it the exact same thing that we have right now, but on a crypto faster. Like, what's the point? What's the point? Unless you're a bank, like, you're going to get all the goodies again. Like, it's not fair. The whole reason why the system is broken is because the banks keep squeezing and people out time and time again. You put your money into a bank, your money's not there. They're using your money to make money, but you're not allowed to do that. How does that make sense? Why can banks do that? People can't do that. That's the argument with crypto. That's the argument with DeFi. That's why crypto's fighting this right now. We'll see where it goes from there. But yeah, the White House took the lead rather than letting crypto firms and banks trade still a discussion. And seemingly the White House is just saying banks should win this from the looks of things. So we'll see where it goes from here, ultimately. Now, before we get into the Kaspa updates, let's get into the questions for today, or the welcoming back of people. Double D was here. Welcome back, my man. Hope you're doing very, very well today. And you too, Wyatt. Yo, here for the Kaspa daily content. You know it. Welcome back, Falcon, my man. And you too, Kryptoni. Shake my head. Jerry didn't set a stop loss yesterday. Yep. Jokes aside, I did not. I went all in against Lavendi and came out very, very lucky in the river in the Web3 poker game and knocked him out and took everything. And then I went up against, I believe it was Mike. And yeah, both times I had strong hands, and it was the river card the same way how I got Lavendi out both times round when Mike got me out or took a lot of my capital and then got me out in the end was because he had a very fortunate river card that ended up knocking me out. I think he had A3 suited hearts and also had a, I can't remember the second hand. I don't remember the second hand. I remember that it equally knocked me out. I think it was a straight or some sorts. I think he had a 9 or something like that and it knocked me out. So yeah, it's unlucky. Both my hands were good as well. I remember Buffalo saw my hand. Both you, Kryptonian and Buffalo, saw my hand. They were good hands, like King, Ace, and Ace Queen or something like that on and off suits, and just didn't get the luck of the cards. Should have put in a stop loss definitely. I'm gonna get him back next time, no doubt about it. Either way, it was ended up being Paul that won it. That was crazy. He just went all in just for the love of the game and all times won it. He had the luck, the heart of the cards. Welcome back. Great, my manager doing very, very well. AI level 1000. Kaspa's about to boom soon, bro. I hope so. I'm still under the impression we've got a bit more downside ahead of us. Kaspa has been trading diligently within this support zone for the past month now. First touched here at January 31st. We're about to push the end of February and we've been chopping sideways for about a month straight. So I would like to believe we're at a very low point, arguably the bottom for Kaspa. But if Bitcoin corrects further and comes down, dropping towards the 50k level again, Kaspa will correct as well. It's just Bitcoin still runs the market. Look at Bitcoin dominance still. I want Bitcoin to do well and thus Kaspa to do even better. I'm hearing a lot of individual in communities and whatnot still saying that they believe Bitcoin's going to reach 53k. I'm inclined to say it's a possibility. I'm not set on stone it's going to happen just yet, but there are many overarching factors still in play. These geopolitical tensions between the US and Iran being one, these tariff headlines being one, more headwinds regarding macro and the Fed decisions. All's happening right now. It was, as I said to my VIPs earlier, as I'm going to quickly paraphrase what I sent to the community. We are seeing right now a news tsunami. And because of this, there's too much data for investors to digest at once, thus just resulting in people just taking a step away. Like, there's too much going on. It's too much predominantly negative news, but it's kind of just headlines, good, bad. It's like brain overload. Just leave me alone, put me in a safe haven and just let me forget for a bit because there's too much going on. There's too much going on right now. And it's hard to keep up with all of it. That's why we do these daily streams as well, because it's hard to keep up everything, and that's also why we've got our free Discord server, and equally, even more so, our VIP, because we go through this consistent, constant flow of information and just simplify it for everybody so we actually know what's going on and don't get distracted by headline news. That's why we haven't been, caught out and caught lacking in these markets. Right now, I hope Kaspa does rally soon. I still think we've got a few months, though. I think the catalyst that will start generating FOMO for crypto, or not even FOMO, but just actual investments from institutions into crypto, comes mainly down to the Clarity Act being the big one, and some other stuff as well. But this is probably the main one right now. And right now, we're not seeing too much progression on that front, and it could take a few months till. Some are saying spring. I know I heard Ripple CEO Brad Garnick, I'll say 80% chance it passes by end of April. I don't trust him. He also said we're going to reach a 10 trillion market cap in crypto by 2025. We didn't even reach 5. Granted, things didn't play out the way that he anticipated, but even then, it's hopium figures, So I don't believe that. I'll believe what I see, and I believe incremental development as opposed to just, it's going to happen by here, Welcome back, Dimitama, man, who's doing very, very well. Yes, this is the bottom for Kaspa. I hope so. Right now, things are looking that way, but that's based on the premise that Bitcoin continues to trade around this level. Even if Bitcoin came down to 60k, I think Kaspa can hold this support here. Could be doing so. When Bitcoin went down to 60k here on Feb 5th as well, Kaspa was equally at the bottom here. So I think Kaspa will hold the support zone for now. But if Bitcoin loses 60k, makes a new lower low, Kaspa will also as well. That's my current perception. So I have to see if Bitcoin goes lower or not. If you hold 60k Kaspa, this is the bottom. If you lose 60k Bitcoin, then Kaspa will come down lower. But there are also so many developments coming up for Kaspa that for me, it will help hold its foundation and level. Not saying it can't come down. And I'm not saying it's going to explode to the moon. Once more, these developments are not price catalysts, but they do help in allowing for more investments and more builders to come on board and more adopters to come on board because they provide more programmability to Kaspa, more opportunities for Kaspa. So when that comes through, Kaspa has a higher chance to rally significantly when the market sentiment flips, which is the question of when. We don't know when just yet. My sources say sometime in the summer or latter half of summer, which by that point you'd see VPOG's version 1 out, Silverscript out, Confidence out, ZK out, hopefully soon to be coming Dagonite by that point as well, and increased block per second. So we have to wait and see. We can see here from Jonathan Polinsky here, when clarifying what was asked from a member here, which I already made a post about this on my Twitter account, but we have the verbal confirmation now from Jonathan Polinsky. Let me just quickly get up my account here. I made the paraphrasing here. Where is it? Oh, it's being funny. For some reason, it came up in replies, not in post, even though it was a post. Yeah, I made the post here about Son Polinsky just stated that Kaspa Dagonite with VPOG's version 2 and 25 to 40 BPS could be ready by Q3 2026 and 100 BPS 2027. And we had the confirmation here from him himself saying, aiming for 2 hard forks this year, Covenants beginning of May, which comes with Silverscript and ZK and all that sort of stuff as well. And then Dagonite and increased block per second, ending of Q3, God willing. Both are aggressive timelines, but realistic with the newly expanded dev force. That's the main premise right now. When you listen to people like Shy, which I'm not going to get too much into that because I know a lot of people don't like Shy. I love Shy. I think he's got a very intellectual mind, and I think he knows what he's talking about. But at the same time, especially in the position we're in right now, Shy does not know the inner workforce of Kaspa's. He's not in the inner circle. So he may not be so well aware of how the developments are currently unfolding. But even though they talk about in the Telegram, Kaspa Core aren't the best at communicating, with all respects. This is the best we've done for a very, very long time. But we have seen a newly expanded dev force, with Hans involved, with Ezio involved, with so many other new devs jumping on board. And therefore, this aggressive timeline is something that is feasibly realistic because they have more people on board. Moxon says here as well, expanded dev force, both human and agentic. So they're even using AI to help. More proof that AI is going to become to Kaspa, and this could also be a huge boost when this stuff goes mainstream. The next 1 million users will be AI agents, and they'll be coming to Kaspa, in my belief, and other platforms, but for me, Kaspa will be one of the main ones, and will start growing more so because it has the best protocol for it, because it can process information in parallel with BlockDAG, which no other platform can realistically do, not in the same level at least. Latest Codex and Opus models should not be neglected in this regard, to say the least. Being more explicit, recent models are finally in the realm where they significantly accelerate experts as well. AI has now got to the point where beforehand it was just regurgitating rubbish or what people said. It's to the point now where it has evolved where it actually can help provide areas of expertise that experts didn't even consider. Even within complex algorithmic heavy code such as Kaspa. So agentic AI with the devs of Kaspa is doing massive work. Latest AI models are definitely a great tool in the hands of those who know how to use them, and it's being used in Kaspa right now. That is great stuff. So Kaspa is seemingly well on track. It's also why I believe Kaspa is very, very well. Alongside other assets, I think will come back when the market reverses, when that comes through with regulations, but it's a guessing game when it happens. This, for me, is more concrete than when regulators come out. Unbelievable. I thought the tariff news would crash the market, but it doesn't affect it that much. So the next news that will pump the markets will be the Clarity Act. Yeah, it's an interesting one. I think there was a general consensus that tariff news being deemed as illegal would crash the markets. But then on the flip side, we had the positive macro reports. Well, I say positive, actually, they were very negative macro reports, but the negative nature of the macro reports incentivized the Fed to start acting again because they're so bad the Fed need to step in. And also, while the tariffs were deemed illegal, there will have to be it was deemed there to be a refund to these companies from the United States. Thus, you'll see a stimulus check pushed to the companies, inject into the economy, so the market's flowing again. Either way, Trump's put new tariffs in, so yeah, I'm not surprised how the market's moving right now, really, that much at all. I think expecting it to go down is understandable, but understanding why it went up is equally as important. And it went up, and I would have been a bit more shocked if it went down, considering that being deemed illegal. The thing is, Americans, for the most part, at least from what I can tell, they deem as tariffs as good. And I'm not saying they are or aren't, and I'm not going to get into my belief on that either. What I'm going to say is based on all leading economists and the general consensus from everybody else that I've done my institutional research on, all the information I post into my VIP about from leading economists, from ING Bank, from Wells Fargo, even then a US-based entity, from Rockefeller, all these leading institutions and leading economists, they say tariffs are bad in the sense of it causes inflation and the other stuff they always recite. So if tariffs were made as illegal, and therefore they had to pay the money back, that investor sentiment flips. And like, oh great, tariffs are no more. Pump the markets again finally. That's so. I think it's understandable if you would believe that they were going to cause the market to crash, but realistically they're always going to cause the market to go up. But even then, Trump now issued new tariffs. That's why I think this pump is short-lived, and it's euphoric and FOMO, and you'll see the market come back down probably over the weekend or starting going to next week if we do see a retaliation from other nations to issue tariffs back on Trump because of new 10% global tax or tariffs. But yeah, it's definitely a sucker full of drama. I'll give you that right now. It's been basically, if you look at this right now, you've had, this was a bull run technically, but even then, like Bitcoin from the start of January, because that's, I guess if you look at it, the market properly pushed here in September, but Trump was, if you look at January started here. Bitcoin pumped 30%, 40% from 90k to 125, and then it's come back down since. So we've not had too much movement, all things considered. It's been very wildly volatile, but it hasn't really been that euphoric bull run. Like if you look at what happened last cycle, where you saw a pump up, 2021 started here, saw it come down, then go back up. That's a 50, 60% move. And then you had that pullback, start rally again in July. You saw it move to almost 2.5x in Bitcoin then. But the rest of it, like it's, you could very well, I'm not going to lie, there is a possibility you see a somewhat repeat of this. Consider it in an extended business cycle and everything that's taking place right now, you could definitely see a repeat of this. I wouldn't be surprised. But of course, we'll have to talk about it more when the time comes through. And of course, I'll post more information to my VIPs so we're prepared for when that happens as well. He's going to throw a stone at IR. You don't just move ship like that. It could last a few days, and only then will the market recover. That is my idea for the moment, but we'll see. Who knows? Yeah, it probably is. He probably is. We'll have to wait and see. That's the ultimate problem. We just don't know. That's what investors hate. It's the uncertainty that causes so much, negative price action. Right now, the markets are trying their best to stay afloat. People are trying to keep the prices inflated and whatnot, but it's a struggle. But like you as well, yeah, I'm ready for my bags. Kaspa, Quant, Render, definitely. Tal's a great shout. There are many other assets that I've got in my watch list that are in my playbooks, in my breakdowns, in my portfolio, in my VIP, that my VIPs have access to, and much more. Once more, tune in, learn more, join people who are like-minded, who are trying to learn more here. Links are all down below in the description. I believe that this Sunday actually is the 2-week mark, so this weekly roundtable that we do every Sunday, because it's a 2-week mark. This one will be posted to the members of YouTube as well. So if you want to get a little bit of an inkling into regards to what information we do talk about in the VIP, and a more, I guess, institutionalized and deeper breakdown of what we do daily here, then sign up to the YouTube membership right now, and you can see that on Sunday when it goes live. You'll see Quant will make a move when VPOX takes over. They won't let anyone else take their place. Yeah, that's not a bad shout either. I think Quant, I don't get me wrong, Kaspa probably will end up taking out a lot more, like when it's fully developed and everything starts growing more so, but you'll see some other projects who have been currently the front runners start to run beforehand. Quant, I think, will be one of them. But then if you think about Kaspa with VPOX with Warp Core, that could very well make the likes of Quant in the very, I'm going to say distant future. I don't think it's going to be near future, but you can see VPOX with Warp Core and these other stuff make these sort of assets redundant in the future, especially XRP. Saying that XRP is still going to do well, no doubt about that, but will it last forever is the ultimate question. Welcome back, LB, bro. You're doing very, very well, my man. WD says, I'm not moving. I don't have a good feeling about it. A good dump is coming, not financial advice. End of April, beginning of May, I see the market picking up, but I have a crystal ball. Yeah, you know what? I have a weird, I agree. Weirdly, I agree. I think I'm in a similar sentiment right now myself, that we're going to see a bit more downside, for better or for worse. I'm already looking into my watch list, my portfolio, to find the entry levels that I want to get into these assets, and I'm going to start buying them aggressively in the dip with all the stable coins I've got sidelined right now. Make it interesting next time and make the buy-in with 10 real monies. I mean, it was real money. Well, the event was for free Web3 poker, but there were like some rewards given away. Like there were some NFTs given away to those who won, which is what I was basically playing for. Orthas and Kaspa. I mean, I'm sure there will be actual money on the line going forward. The reason why the event was just free is just to make it more inclusive, so everybody could have the chance to join. But I do agree, the only downside of having free poker games is that you don't take it as seriously. If I had like 10k on the line, be it 10k Kaspa or 10k actual dollars, like I'm playing that so differently. Would I have gone in against Lev? Probably not. And then I wouldn't have wiped in clean. Would I have gone in against Mike? Definitely not. Because there was nothing really on it for me besides potentially winning an NFT. I didn't really care. Not saying it wasn't. I still had a lot of fun, and I still took it semi-seriously. Still played it. If I had a semi-decent hand, it wasn't like the hands I had weren't bad. But it's like in the situation there were like there was a flush draw on when the river came out, and he went in aggressively as he did. I would have been like, nah, I don't fancy it because there's a chance it goes wrong. But then of course, it played out the way it played out. Next time we'll see what happens. I'm sure we'll have more opportunities coming out. I think there is a plan to have another event next month, but I know that Lev and Wolf are both busy, either seeing family or even setting up their enterprise and businesses elsewhere. There is going to be another event at Wolfie, so on the 7th, which I believe I'm a speaker at somehow. I guess I have got big enough to be a speaker in some aspect. So that will be interesting. I'm not sure how it's going to pan out, but I'm sure you'll hear more about it very, very soon. I've got to make a script or something. I don't know what I'm going to talk about. No idea. 0.2 coming. I mean, I've had this support zone for Kaspa for the last month or so now, maybe a little bit longer. This is from 2.265 cents to just below 2 cents, or 0.0226 or 0.0198. So 2 cents Kaspa for me is like on the dot, is definitely possible. Not to be negative, not to drive FUD. The current market dynamics is one that is mainly in a downtrend. Kaspa's done very well for the last month to chop sideways. Bitcoin has also similarly done the very same thing. If Bitcoin starts losing momentum again, which is possible given all the current headlines surrounding us, then Kaspa will also come down. Don't be emotional, be logical. Is Kaspa going to die off from that? No, not in my belief. Is crypto going to die off from that? No. This is where the money is made. When the assets are down so significantly, this is where you want to get in and then ride the wave up. Think about the possibility if you go into Kaspa back here and then made this rally up here, made a 6-7x. You're basically in a similar sort of spot right now, except there's a lot more built on top of Kaspa, and there's going to be more institutional adoption and AI and stuff coming on. And look at your other assets. AVAC, for example, one that I am looking at. AVAC right now is at $9. Is that a low I haven't seen since 2023? That's equally got a 7x potential from that. Look at Solana, 84 right now. Not a bad zone for Solana. Peaked here at to almost 300. So even then, it's not a bad 3.5x potential, And these assets can still go lower, So of course, do your own research, trade discretion, or you can come learn more on the VIP, where we're still making gains through trading right now. We're still making gains through trading. We're still continue to do research, macro breakdowns, institutional breakdowns, and much more. But once more, you can learn more about it in the VIP. There are 7-day free trials going, 1 month free trial if you sign for BYDFI, and follow the steps in our free Discord server. Once more, links are all down below in the description. Go check them out right here in the Get VIP Access channel. Now, before we get to more of the questions, let me get into some of the actual news real quickly, because I have been talking to you lovely people for a bit now. So we already spoke about this confirmation here about the hard fork coming to Kaspa. We've got this update here with Michael Sutton saying that there's some serious engineering achievements happening right now. The mastery of Kaspa script, engineering intrinsics, plus ZK guest program complexity, shipped end to end in 6 weeks. Max, this man here, seems to have done some significant work in 6 weeks, getting the initial working implementation of base ZK Covenant rollup with Kaspa's canonical bridge over testnet 12. It looks like we're very well on track for this big hard fork coming in May 5th, 2026. Things are looking really, really good. They're working on a proof of concept right now. The virtual machine itself is a simplified account model supporting only 3 actions: entry, transfer, exit, but there's going to be a lot more coming out. This is fantastic stuff. The devs are cooking. Devs are cooking right now. Absolutely insane stuff. And we got this rundown here from Kaspa Commons, aka Chad, where Jonathan retweeted this just saying the bazaar is converging in DAG mode. The cult of the Covenant here. This is just basically a rundown of Ori Newman's Silverscript and why it's so significant. The whole post is here. The summary of it is that Silverscript is an experimental high-level language that makes it easier to build Kaspa native contracts. It is still early, but it represents a step towards deeper programmability inside Kaspa's core architecture rather than outside it. It is a game-changing upgrade. Game-changing upgrade, no doubt about it. And even Shy was acknowledging of that as well, which, Shy has been, and I always sound like a negative on Shy. I'm not negative on Shy, I don't want to be, but Shy has been quite negative with Kaspa as of late, and he's probably in his right to do so. But even he was like, this is fantastic. Silverscript is really good and also helps offset a lot of the stress that comes with the other stuff that Kaspa Core are trying to build right now. VProgs, these are going to be fantastic, but is it achievable in such a short time frame? Silverscript offsets that stress. So this is great to see that stuff being coming out. We can see here from Hans as well, another one who's come in helping on Kaspa. There's a lot of stuff being built right now. Bigger update because there are 3 new PRs that are ready for review. You've got some fix and bugs that introduce a schedule state. You've got some, these are all in correlation to the VProgs that are going to be coming out, hopefully in a few months. You've got the node framework, which builds on top of the first PR and introduces a generic platform for building layer 2 nodes, which is great as well. And then you've got this VProgs CLI and actual binary as well. So we've got some good PRs coming out. And you've got the whole rundown here as well. This is just so much building going on right now with Kaspa. And while we're still early on in this, you can see it right here, so much going on. VProgs are just completely accelerating right now. It's crazy stuff. It is absolutely insane stuff. And as a penultimate kind of final point before we get to more questions here, shout out to Cody who found this. I didn't even see that KI made this post here. Cody found this and he gave a bit of a rundown, which I'm just going to paraphrase his rundown because I haven't had the liberty of looking through this whole post myself just yet. This is from the Europe's Court of Auditors Special Report, Control Systems of Olive Oil in the EU, a comprehensive framework but unevenly applied. Summary of this, in accordance to what Cody said here, the auditors found that many extra virgin oils were actually lower quality virgin or lepidolin oils by the time they hit the shelves. So people are basically just lying about what they're putting up, basically. And this is often due to poor storage or blending. Either way, those who are claiming they have extra virgin olive oil, the kind of the better quality stuff, they're lying about it, either unintentionally or intentionally. And that is why KRI reposted it, because what KRI proposes is the olive chain, which is a way to track elements like oil on the Kaspa blockchain to see that everything is actually happening as intended. So KRI promotes industrial digital twins of olive oil. In their vision, a batch of olive oil would have a digital twin on the blockchain that records its temperature, storage, conditions, and origin. If the physical oil is tampered with or mishandled, the digital record would show the discrepancy immediately. So you would therefore know in which part of the pipeline where the error took place, and therefore knowing who to penalize. Do you penalize the farm it came from, the shipping container it came from, the company that produced and squished and blended up all the oil to make it into olive oil? Who do you penalize? You don't know. It's a long process. Olive chain can find the exact issue. That's one of many benefits that olive chain has, and one of the many projects that KRI have that's building on top of Kaspa. So this is really, really big. Unfortunately, there's still those who are just fudding KRI, but yeah, it's tough being from the KRI in the sense that you're trying to produce industry applications, but you can't really show much of it because industry applications and people who are just whole focus on price just don't have patience to see it, or they don't see it, so they don't believe it. And I get that, but you're never going to see it. It's kind of the issue as well. Welcome back, Peachy, my man. Look at the weekly RSI. It's going to boom. Market B cipher, all looking bullish. I mean, I haven't seen the weekly RSI. I haven't got it preloaded here. The indicators. I can load it. I'll remove the moving average. Just gotta give a hell about that. RSI. I don't typically use the RSI. I didn't type it in right. That's why. I don't typically use the RSI because I don't find these indicators that helpful. It's 14-day. Said on the weekly, right? Yeah. Yeah, I don't typically use the RSI because right now, when the markets are so very much driven by geopolitical tensions and macro headlines, these TA stuff, I don't find that helpful. If this is the weekly RSI in regards to how I set it up, then we could see. Yeah, I mean, we did just have that overselling period here, so we could see a bounce to push back up again. But once again, the RSI, whatever it suggests for me, is albeit basically irrelevant, because if we get a breakout of war between the US and Iran, if countries retaliate against Trump's tariffs he just implemented 10% across the globe, markets are going to go down, be it what the RSI says. I find that fundamentals and geopolitics and these developments matter a lot more than TA. This stuff is fantastic if you've got a market that's just neutral. The market's doing nothing, there's no headline news that's affecting the markets. This is very helpful. But when the markets are so volatile because of headline news, they're not as helpful. Unless you're doing day trading, which therefore could give you an idea of what could happen in the short term. But even at that point, then I'm looking at fib retracement more so, and your supports and levels of resistance. 0.04, 0.1, 0.02, 0.2, I buy it. I think I'm back no matter what. That's conviction, my man. I 100%. You should. Sonnet 4.6 just did a 9-page reconstruction of my offshore crypto exchange in like 15 minutes, and 13 of it was me pasting a few things in. They hurt us, if anything, so it's bullish. I don't completely understand what this point means, in all honesty. But in the general summary of that, or just that sentence alone, I mean, yeah, we're going to continue getting squeezed out. If crypto, or when crypto takes over finance, they don't want us to make the wealth that's going to come from it, so they're going to squeeze us out everywhere they can do. You know? It's just going to happen. That's just the nature of it. That's the fact of the matter. The guy who had faith in Bitcoin bought at 10, 17, at 25. It dropped to $1.80. He kept going, and now he regrets having faith. Yeah, I'm sure. It's like Bitcoin was innovative in its aspect. Kaspa is the exact same, but the better, faster version. Like it's going, for me, there's no doubt in my mind it's going to take off. It's just having the conviction to stay with it through the tough times. That's just me, though. Retail has no money to invest. Doesn't matter. Unfortunately, Tim, it does not matter, because this market is not run by retail. This market has been taken over by institutions. Retail can have no pennies whatsoever. They don't run the market, institutions do. We lost all our money because institutions kind of bled us dry, and that's sad. But believe it or not, that's what they want. They don't care. This market's going to pump without retail or not. The institutions are going to stand it sky high when they're ready for it. Retail do not run the markets anymore. That's why FOMO means nothing. FOMO does not matter at all, because institutions with their AI bots, whatever they use, they don't buy and sell off FOMO. They buy and sell off what they want, the infrastructure that's useful for them, the use case that comes with it. They don't buy off FOMO like retail does. They don't buy memes. They buy infrastructure. That's why it doesn't matter whether we have money or not. And thank you very much again, Kryptoni. Once more, if you want to find out more, learn more about the markets and whatnot, check out the Free Discourse channel. Check out the VIP, which you can learn much more in there. Institutional breakdowns, trade alerts, private launches, and a lot more. You can get a 30-day free trial through my affiliate exchange, BYDFI, which links to join that are down below in the description. You can find out how to get the 30-day free trial in the Discord server as well. And you can follow me on Twitter as well, where we are posting more on there to keep us updated on what's happening right now. Occasionally some free snippets from what's happening in the VIP go on there as well. Go check that out. Link is right there in the chat, and also down below in the description. It's just been a crypto enthusiast trading with each other, no new interest because they don't have anything spare cash to invest. Yeah, retail doesn't matter though. I don't disagree. Crypto retail's done nothing. They've been bled dry. They've gone. But right now, institutions are the ones who are keeping the market up and will pump the market when they are ready. Yeah, big money's going to come in. OTC will only last so long. The retail who has smart has been in for a long, long time. Yeah, pretty much. Pretty much. Did you see Optimism? Op is dying after Base creates its own stack. I did not see Optimism. I don't think I ever really looked into it. I know of it. I didn't particularly care about Op. Damn. Wow, that did fall off a cliff, huh? Wow, that is crazy. Yeah, I remember a lot of people talking about Op, but I never really got into it because I thought, yeah, it like the concept around Op was like, it's okay, but it was okay, but that's how I always perceived it. It was okay, but it's down 9 to 10% from launch. I didn't know something regarding base though, but yeah, that's not surprising at all. I don't think, yeah, Op's probably done for then. I don't see how that comes back from this. It's down almost. But this is exactly what I mean though. Like people fudding Kaspa, well within your right to fud Kaspa. Like I'm not saying don't. If you're upset about the price, you're right to be because the price is terrible. But then you look at other projects which have had more bullish nature, who have stand the test of time. Op's been about for quite some time, as long as Kaspa, I should say. There are many projects that have been out in the similar and their proof of stakes, and they are down as much, if not more, if not dead, comparative to Kaspa, which still has a very strong community. It's just become very emotional because the price has been down for so long. Everyone who was talking about Kaspa way back when I've left, they talk about it occasionally, but don't talk about it a lot anymore. They'll come back when the price comes back up again. Of course they will. People will come back to Kaspa. People will talk about Kaspa again when the time is right. It's just not here yet. That one? Oh, there. Base to exit op stack and launch unveil. Yeah, okay, there you go. Base to lock op stack and launch verify unified network software. What? Wait, last 24 hours it's down 8%. Last week it's down 32. It must have happened last week there, because that's 32% correction in a week. Is crazy. That is crazy. Last month it's down 60%. Last year it's down 89%, and all time it's down 97%. Op listed on Upbit and Robinhood. You got listing on Robinhood and now it's gone down. That's crazy. Into the month, Bitcoin retail pump altcoins. Retail, well, if that's the case, look at altcoins. Altcoins aren't pumping at all. Retail does not matter. Institutions right now really only have access to Bitcoin and Ethereum and some others like XRP and Solana. They'll have access to more when more ETFs come out, but they haven't got access to all right now, so they can't get into them. Once they do, altcoins will start to rally. But retail don't pump the price anymore. Not like last cycle. Institutions pump what they can get access to, which is right now Bitcoin. Other than that, they don't pump anything else. XRP did well from institutional pumps. Other than that, no, you're not going to see it pump yet. When the Clarity Act comes out, institutions will be more inclined to get involved again. You'll see the markets pump, and then you'll see altcoins start to perform well again. And those ETFs will probably do a little bit better. And then we'll see retail come back in full force, and we'll see where it goes from there. Once the data apps are, I think on Kaspa, there'll be no use for any other chain. Yeah, I mean, definitely. Once dApps are out on Kaspa, Kaspa will become a much more well-renowned world sequencer. There'll be lackluster need to use anything else, and Kaspa will start making its name known. But that will take time. We haven't got institutions pumping it. But you have got institutions looking into it. Marathon mines it. You've got Begin Blockchain, once the parent company of Ice River, who's on the Nasdaq now. You've got Zodiac Custody. You've got KRI and DII. You have got enterprise eyes that look into Kaspa. So it's not a case that we are isolated. It's just that we've not got the investment here just yet, you know. But it'll come through, especially when you're seeing this stuff. It's literal concrete proof of why you need KRI and therefore why you need the Kaspa, the olive chain. Because this is an issue. It's a big issue. So, and that's just one of many aspects. But that being said, family, that does now conclude today's Kaspa Crypto live stream. I hope you enjoyed today's stream. Tomorrow's stream should be live at normal time, but I'll let you all know. If you enjoyed, please leave me a like. Help me out more than you know. Share with your friends. Subscribe for more. Turn on the notification bell as well so you don't miss when I do go live. Check out the recent video if you haven't done so already to get a bit of a rundown of what I spoke about in today's stream. If you want to learn more, check out the Discord community, the free server, the Twitter account, BYDFI for trading and getting discounts when trading as well, like 70% discounts when trading, which is also quite big. And then, of course, the VIP to partake and learn more in the trades, in the content, in the breakdowns, and much more. But that being said, family, have a great day, good evening, and good night. Love you all, and I will see you all in the next one.